bienvenue dans Musica. Ce soir, Musica vous fait découvrir l'univers musical du compositeur américain Steve Reich. Né en 1936 à New York, Steve Reich est considéré comme un véritable orfèvre du son. Créateur curieux des nouvelles technologies, il travaille avec bonheur sur des ordinateurs tout en sollicitant les instruments traditionnels. Le portrait de Steve Reich, tout de suite dans Musica.
When I was working on The Cave in Act 3, it's the American section of the piece. And so I wanted to read something that had to do with Abraham, Isaac, Ishmael. And so Moby Dick was the book I read. And on the very first page of the book, the second paragraph, there now is your insular city of the Manhattoes, he called it, belted round by wharves as Indian isles by coral reefs. Commerce surrounds it. He's thinking about Wall Street with her surf. Right and left, the streets take you waterward. Its extreme downtown is the Battery. This is the Battery, where that noble mole is washed by waves and cooled by breezes, which a few hours previous were out of sight of land. Look at the crowds of water gazers there. It doesn't get much better than that.
Take a look. Every item $10. Check it out. 10 pesos todo lo que viene aquí, 5 pesos abajo, viene falda, viene vestido, viene pantalones, viene camisa, viene chaqueta, viene blusa, viene todo. Check it out. Every item $10 downstairs for men. Take a look. Men's and ladies fashion. Excuse me, young lady. Check it out. Check it, check it, check it, check it, check it, check it, check it out, check it out, check it out. Check, 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 check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out.
Basically, this piece began back in 1988, in one sense, when I began to write Different Trains. And that was the first time that I used pre-recorded speaking. Listened to what people said, wrote down the speech melody, and had musicians in an ensemble play what somebody was saying by how they were speaking. I think people in different countries write different kinds of music based on their language. Bel canto, opera comes out of Italy. Rock and roll comes out of America, comes out of spoken American English, and bel canto Italian rock and roll, French rock and roll is not very interesting, and it's really based on the speech melody of the musicians and the whole gesture of a culture. In America, George Gershwin used taxi horns, or more or less imitations of taxi horns in American in Paris. And I began thinking about extending that kind of thing, given the experience I had had recording people, and making a piece about the kind of life that I lead here in New York City. Door slams, heavier ones. I mean, if you have a low octave piano, there's a lot of weight. It's a percussive sound with a little bit of sort of high frequency on the end of it. Now, if you have a lot of money, you can afford one of these. It's a Porsche. Very well put together horn. This is a car going away, but it's nicely tuned to the C here. So it forms a bass in that opening section of the piece.
So is that something you recognize when you...
No.
You find it out later?
No, once I get it home and I put it in the sampler, and then I began thinking, well, what note is this? Maybe I can tune it more exactly, because you can tune in here. And then I think, well, this is a way of stating a low C when maybe if I just actually played it, it would be too obvious. So this is a way of hinting it. It's just the traffic, but it brings in the same function as a cello or a double bass, but with another timbre, because it's another instrument. So this is your car cello. The horns, where there were a couple of attacks in different pitches, different, more sustained horn, very different that. Well, this is the setup given what I have in the studio for the second act. And it starts off, the tempo is set by this pile driver, which is what you see driving the metal into the ground when you're building a very tall building. And that goes on basically for the first part of the second act. The second part just doubles the tempo. And then in the later on it goes. Now what else do we have here? So this is a basic. These are car alarms. Basically one car alarm. That's probably closer to where it actually was, and put in so that you can actually put together. And you can actually have. So once you have this going. Sometimes they're double. Sometimes you hear a car horn, and in the second movement, particularly in the end of the first movement, you hear the Porsche horns and clarinet, and sometimes you hear Porsche horns and oboe English horn, or two oboes, and it's a different feeling. And I'm going to get more into that as the piece goes, where you have particularly pitch sounds like automobile horns, together with woodwinds or piano or vibraphone, and you begin to build orchestration, building the car horn into the orchestra, which is really what the piece is about. Up here are more alarms. Basically, it's pile driver and alarms. Which you hear along the street all the time, and it drives you nuts. So it's better to just grab it, put it in the sampler, put it in the piece, and make a little piece with it. That pun only works in English. And that's pretty much it. I think. Yeah, that's all it's on the second movement. Second movement, the title, the first movement is called Check It Out. The second movement is called Pile Driver, Alarms. And the third movement, I think, is going to be called It's Been a Honeymoon. Here we are in the second movement, and you see a lot of sustained notes. And the layout of the score is basically the same. Strings are down here, pianos here, samplers here. Now, when you go later on in the piece, let's see where we are. Yeah, it gets doubled up like I played it for you before here. So at this point here, you would hear. To go back to that, this is the pile driver right here, and above it are these car alarms, which are just being played. Right now, I'm at the end of the second movement, and which is a kind of the piece is projected to be in 5 movements. The first and the last will be sort of corresponding to what used to be called allegro. It'll be fast moving, and they'll be sort of upbeat, relatively as positive in mood as the piece gets. The second movement is bleaker, darker, and it gets uglier as it goes along, in a sense. And the third movement, which is going to be the center of the piece, I recorded a political demonstration here in City Hall Park. Primarily black speakers, black American speakers, African American speakers. And they were pretty angry. And in that, I want to get that. I don't know how literal I want to be or how abstract I want to be, so that's one of the questions. But I want to sort of, I'm building up to something which I want to be the most aggressive and the most sort of riveting at the center of the piece, and sort of spell out my human difficulties in the city and the way things really are, and musically the most concentrated part of the piece. It will involve working with speech melodies, but it also may mean breaking them up into syllables, which I haven't done, so that maybe immediately you don't understand what's said. You get a feeling, you get a mood, you hear small bits of speech, and then gradually as the movement goes along, that will become revealed to you as to what's actually been said, or maybe not. I'm also trying to work harmonically to make this the most intense part of the piece. Then I hope to go down to the river where we might go tomorrow, and to find occasionally foghorns that exist in every sort of slow, to go back in the fourth movement to a kind of quieter feeling that you get in the second movement, which would basically be kind of a feeling of the water, fog, and the nighttime in the city. And in the fifth movement, I'm not as clear, but I think there's going to be a return to like a lot of car horns, a lot of, but a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more like the first movement, because my feelings about the city, finally, although there are many negative things, it's always mixed.
It's 210 pounds. Okay? What's going on here?
Let's have a coffee.
Let's have a gin, right? And general feel from people.
Okay. Well, with the strings, I think it would be nice if we could just poco vibrato. Not a full vibrato, not nothing. It's non-vibrato with a little warmth. And it's a détaché stroke, very tenuto. So it's separate strokes, but you're trying to keep them connected. Same thing with the winds, basically. The winds, it's not a dash, it's not a dot, but it's closer to a dash. It's just basically sustained. It's basically tenuto.
Let's just try the string sound. Maybe going from
102.
98. Shall we just do the first group again then? So first violin with the viola and the first piano and vibes. This is the upbeat to 102. 3, 4. Firstly, it's fantastic to be working with the Ensemble Moderne. They make such a good sound and such an exciting sound. Straight away, you feel there's something really alive and, you know, happening here. And once we're working on the rhythmic detail, particularly the sort of rhythmic basis that comes from the two pianos and the two vibes, once we get a sense of that, I think things will begin to hang together more and more. And yeah, we just want to work now sort of calmly, get people to feel where each beat really is, you know, and how they work together, so they get a sense of ease within the ensemble, so they're not all sort of fighting to get to the next beat. And, you know, I think it'll settle down very quickly. But it's a lovely piece. I'm really enjoying the sounds that he makes, you know, and the use of the orchestra is great.
I grew up on the Upper West Side, around Broadway and West End Avenue and Riverside Drive in the 80s. And at that period of time, it's a totally safe area. I used to play what they call stoop ball. You throw a ball up against the side of a stair, concrete stair, and 3 people stand out. And if it bounces once, it's 1 base hits, 2 bounces, 3, 2 bases, 3, 3. If you hit the other wall, it's a home run. I could go to 42nd Street and go to the movies. I could ride the subway with my friends at the age of 7 or 8. I have a 16-year-old when he goes in the subway. I'm really concerned about what goes on with him now. many fires, and there wasn't as much police action. Therefore, to be heard, if you had a fairly loud klaxon or siren on your police or fire, you could be heard. But as the noise level got higher, the trucks got noisier, the street noises got louder, then the police had to get a louder siren, a louder fire siren. So it's an escalation. So now you have, I would guess, well over 100, 110, 120 decibels going by on a fire truck when they're right by you and the air horn is on. If you don't have earplugs, you can get in trouble.
Can I just do the strings with piano 1, please? Strings and piano 1. 808. Second. Oh, let's do this. Just do the strings then. 808. 1. Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum. 1. Da 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 dum. So we get the different parts working together. Once again. Da 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 dum. Da ba 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 ba. A little bit more. Da 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 da. Yeah. Da 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 da. Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Yeah. Okay, this is 2/4 once again. Just once more. Once more. Same thing. 808. I'd like to do the pianos and woodwind, please, and the vibes. 808. Pianos, woodwind, vibes. 1. Thank you. Just the vibes, please. Can you just give me 833? 833. 1 and. Yeah, that's great. That's great. So it just has a sense of life to it. Good. May I now do the pianos, please?
What did I miss in the first part of the rehearsal?
We just practiced. We started with running through the third movement. We practiced the fourth movement.
How'd the fourth movement go?
Fine.
Did you get a nice thing with the strings with this little lift to it? And get rid of the dots.
Yeah.
The dots were a mistake.
Yeah, that worked really well.
So there was some kind of forward motion there?
Absolutely.
And the vibes and the pianos were interlocking?
Yeah, they were working. We practiced a little bit to get those to work.
Yeah, that's
fine
important.
now.
Yeah.
And then we just practiced the fifth movement.
Right.
And we've been right through it and we worked on it. And it's absolutely great.
What happens is Robertson had the wrong speed thing, and he liked it. He liked the idea of just taking off with it. So I fixed it. He said, "I'm still going to go fast," and it worked. It worked
Good.
great.
Excellent. Yeah, because we were just.
So it's a real ABA with the B really taking off.
Fine. Excellent. We will do that now.
Let's go see if it really works. Fantastic. It's not hard? It's okay?
No, it's much easier.
Because the left hand is telling you what to do. Now let me just hear your right hand for the balance. Okay, you're a little bit less. Can you bring up your balance just for now, just so I can hear it? Oh, wait a minute, that's on the house speaker?
We can. No, but there, you can keep it there.
So now, now both hands.
Two bars, only left hand and right.
And then all together, all zusammen. Boom. Okay.
1, 2,
3. That's what I heard when I wrote the piece.